Hi, this short video is about cleaning up the solar panel of your Davis Vantage Pro front cover shield that powers up the remote solar the weather station. And over time, typically this display the solar panel gets pretty dinged up and becomes opaque, and starts developing cracks on top of it. And here I've actually taken it apart and cleaned it, and I'm going to show you how the performance of this thing once it's cleaned up. The removal of it is fairly easy. It actually just sits right over here in this frame, and there's a frame on top of that which actually you can easily pop up and remove, because you can see there are four of these plastic tabs that you can, once it's pressed in, it actually locks into place. And when you first remove it for the first time, you will actually have to lift this off, and then it will break off some plastic which is being used to seal it. But it comes off fairly easily if you use a flat screwdriver over here and just lift it on below it. If you do it this way, you're going to break this plastic, which already is deteriorated and weathered pretty much. So you want to lift it up from here on all four sides, and it'll come off. And then you have to, of course, unscrew this cable over here, which is the power supply cable. And once you do that, you can lift this off, remove this, and this has already been cleaned. But before I cleaned it, it was pretty translucent, and it was huge cracks you could see. But these are actually not cracks that are going into the solar panel. These are just cracks on the surface material that is like a plastic rubbery thing that is coating this thing. So it actually is still in good shape. Even though it looked pretty cracked, it wasn't actually cracked. So what I did was I sanded it down using like a 320 grit sandpaper, and then use a what do you call it, colorless or a transparent sealer, which you can get from any hardware store. And once you do that, you get a fairly good clean sheen over here, as you can see, and this is actually pretty clear of any cracks or any discolorations that affected the performance. So before I did this change, I measured the open circuit voltage and the short circuit current of the solar panel, and I was getting open circuit voltage of 2.2 volts and a short circuit current of 185 milliamps. Now if you look at this closely, you can see on the bottom here, I'm not sure, it's very difficult to see this here, but you'll see that the rating is something like 2 volts and 250 milliamps. And after, so it wasn't quite meeting the spec because of all the crud on top of it and translucent material which was weathered over time. This is almost 10 years here. And after I cleaned it up and applied the clear coat on it, the voltage went up to like 2.3 volts, and the current was around 290 milliamps, which is over and above what the spec says. So it's almost back to new condition, except it still has a few imperfections, but it actually works very well, even though it looks slightly weathered. So you can apply another coat. Probably it's going to make it even better in terms of the anti-reflection properties of this thing. So what I'm going to do next is to put this back here, apply some hot glue around the edges here, and make sure it covers this edge area where water could seep in, and hopefully the water will not get into the actual electronics, which is behind on this side. And once I do that, I'm going to put this back and then also do hot glue on these so it stays in place, since I've broken off these little tabs here. And then I'll put back this wiring and then hook it up, and hopefully the battery gets charged and it continues to run the station normally. So after I put it back together, this is what it looks like. I should have probably folded this wire under this tab here, but it's okay. I'm going to hot glue it back here, and hopefully it stays in place. On the other side, you can see it is a bit messy, but I think it's only on the edges, and it's not going to significantly reduce the output of this thing. There's some hot glue here which seals everything up. These panels are in parallel, so it's most of the currents is actually going to show up. It's not going to affect any create problems with being in series, so I think this should be okay here. So that's that. I'm going to put it back and test it and see if this works, and gives me a new lease on life for this weather station, which has been running for over 10 years now. So here's the refurbished cover, front cover for this weather station, and it's back in operation. So if I basically did this for almost nothing, if you wanted to buy a new one, you could get it from Davis for $65, I think, or from other places maybe cheaper. But I thought I would do a quick fix and just try and make it last another 5 years hopefully, before I have to replace the whole panel if it gets, the plastic completely degrades. So hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Bye.